What's up, everyone? Welcome to Level 7. It is time for another episode of the Agents of Fandom podcast. I am so excited to chat about one of the, probably the biggest show, or at least event show, of the streaming era of the last 10 to 15 years, when streaming services have really kind of overtaken cable as the primary watching television source. This has kind of been the one. This has been the number one thing that at least started it all. We are finally back to Stranger Things season. The first part of season 5 releases next week. And so we are finally getting down to the nitty gritty. I have completed my rewatch, watched all 4 seasons in about a week and a half, just crushed through that. And someone who I also know crushed through a rewatch because we were texting each other the whole time. It's my co-host, Sean Mott, Metalcore Nerds. How you doing, Sean?
Doing great. So stoked. It was so funny that we just texted each other and happened to be at the same moments. I got a little ahead of you. We were neck and neck through most of the journey together, but it was fun to have someone else going through the same journey with me at the same time. That was nice.
And joining us today is someone who is also part of that journey for me, because I'm also texting her and being like, wait, did they never address this again? I don't remember what happened, only to continue watching a few more episodes and go, oh yeah, it's the very next season that they address it. So that did make the Stranger Things rewatch a lot more fun, is that I remembered absolutely nothing as I was going through this. But joining us as well, we have our fellow agent of fandom, Caroline. How are you doing, Caroline?
Hi, I am doing awesome. I'm happy to be here. I love Stranger Things. I grew up with Stranger Things, so this is going to be fun. And I have not done a full rewatch. I just don't have the time to do that right now. But trust me, this show is ingrained in my brain. Like, when this is a part of like the most formative years of your life, you don't forget much. That is true for sure.
That is actually such an exciting part of this that I hadn't thought of. I'm really glad you're here today, because you're pretty much the same age as the Stranger Things stars, like right in that range of tiny little kid when it starts, and then it's 3 years between each of these seasons, and so now by the time it's the last one, you're full ass grown adult, and so that's cool.
Yeah, that was always so fun. Like I like hyper fixated on the show for a little bit in season 2. And so like it was so fun being the same age as the cast. And then it keeps becoming more fun because they grow up just like they're growing up in the same time you are. They're the same age as you. And it's so funny because you don't see yourself as like a little kid, but then I like look at Finn Wolfhard and I look at Millie Bobby Brown and Sadie Sink, and I'm like, I remember when you guys were so little in the show. And I'm like, I was also the same age. Like, what are you talking about?
That is some good stuff. Before we dive into it, make sure you hit the like button on this video. Help us grow the community, battle that YouTube algorithm. All you gotta do is take your mouse, slide it over, give it a little click. You're watching on your phone or your tablet, that's fine. Click the little X button, click hide chat, because they hide it. They hide it on us. You gotta hit the X, gotta hit the chat, hide chat, and then you can hit the like button. It helps us out majorly, as it does if you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a nice 5-star rating and review. You can find us on socials at Agents of Fandom on TikTok, Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else. I do want to know, before we start talking Stranger Things, though, because Sean, you teased us, you got something big for us, and then Caroline, we haven't talked like on face-to-face like this since Love Island. So it's been a while. It
was like a century ago. It really does.
Yeah, full lifetime ago. So I want to know what you're watching. And so Caroline, I'll throw it to you first.
Okay. Well, first big one, I see Wicked tonight, and I am so excited. I'm so excited for Wicked. I'm excited for Wicked for all the reasons why everyone is excited for Wicked. So I'm going to leave it at that. I have also, my weekly watch went from Love Island, it went to Summer I Turned Pretty, and then it now is at Dancing with the Stars. The semifinals were last night with a crazy elimination. One that I was quite happy and satisfied with, but there would have been one other elimination that I think I would have been more excited about. But that's been really fun. I like how there's always a weekly watch for me. I've also been watching this teen drama called Maxton Hall. It's from Germany. So I've been watching season 2 of that. I've been so on it. I go back and forth like every single day. And then finally, my big one that I wanted to talk about is this limited series on Peacock called All Her Faults with Sarah Snook, Sophia Lillis. If you're an It 2017 fan, she played Bev in It. And she's amazing in it. Dakota Fanning's in it. And I don't know if you know anything about Dakota Fanning, but she'll only show up and show out for a project if she like really likes it. And so, I mean, it's so good. It's about this mom who goes and picks up her 6-year-old son from a play date, only to find out that the son has gone missing. We have no idea where this kid is. And it's just, the mystery is so good. It's all on Peacock. I binged it all in like a day. So good, highly entertaining. I hope Sarah Snook gets some Emmys for that. She's brilliant in it. So highly recommend All Her Faults.
That is something, Dakota Fanning, that's someone that I feel like I grew up with. That was someone that we are right around the same age. She was a child star. And every time I'd see her in something, it was just like mimic the life stage that I was in a little bit.
Right.
And so Sean knows I have been watching things. I have been loading up lately on the TV shows he's been telling me to watch. And so I've done a whole lot of catching up on things after I finished Stranger Things, because I finally was able to log back into Apple TV. We share it with my mother-in-law, and I just wasn't able to get into it on my bedroom TV for the longest time. We're back in. And so I watched the entire season of Stick, which is a really, really fun, heartfelt show with Owen Wilson. It, like Sean and I were talking about this, it does feel very much like a spiritual successor, I believe is how you put it, Sean, to Ted Lasso. And it's not as good. Like Ted Lasso, I kind of feel like is a pretty close to perfect television show. Stick isn't that. It's not that good. It's not as funny. It doesn't pull on the heartstrings quite as much, but it still does the same things. It hits the same beats of like, this is a funny, lighthearted show until, damn, it stabs you in the heart and just makes you feel things. And so really recommend Stick for kind of like a easygoing, easy watch television show, especially if you're a golf fan. And then I also on Apple TV have started watching The Morning Show. Now, I'm pretty new into The Morning Show right now. Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston, some Steve Carell. Very, like, it's such a weird combination of, like, the stakes actually aren't high. The stakes are low, but they feel really, really high because of the spotlight that are on said stakes. And first episode didn't really hook me. The end of the second episode, I was like, okay, now I'm intrigued. I'm feeling this a little bit. And episode 3, 4 were like, okay, now I finally have a character I feel like I can root for in Reese Witherspoon's Bradley. And so that kind of kept me on it a little bit longer. And now I'm 8 episodes in. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And then the other one is I Love LA on Crave for us here in Canada and HBO Max in the States. Rachel Sennett's new show.
I need to watch that. I love Rachel Sennett.
She executive produces, writes, stars in, directs the final episode, which obviously isn't out yet. There's only 3 episodes out, but I'm really enjoying it so far. There was like a couple of clips that went viral on social media that were incredibly out of context, that made people that were like, I was looking at it and being like, what the fuck is this show? Like, I was excited for it, but it's weird. And people kept trying to dunk on it. And then I saw the actual context of the clip in the show where it's not what the show was. It was the characters being idiots, imitating somebody, overreacting, doing a bit within the show. And I'm actually really enjoying it through 3 episodes. It is chaotic. It is dumb.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's funny, and who doesn't enjoy watching hot people do dumb shit in a sitcom that's funny? Like that's what we watch TV for. But Sean,
Rachel Sennett shares a lot of my humor, and I feel like I need to I feel like sometimes I'm spiritually Rachel Sennett, so I've been like eyeing that one. Thank you for like solidifying it.
I got you. I haven't seen her in I've seen her in this, Bottoms, and Saturday Night. Those were the 3 things that I've seen her in, and I've really enjoyed her in all 3 of them so far. Sean, how about
He's
you? What you
hilarious.
been watching?
I've also been watching I Love LA and The Chair Company, both on HBO Max, both very chaotic and dumb and weird, but in very different ways. I Love LA is definitely the kind of like we've had this like crazy surge of like kind of Gen Z comedy sitcom shows. Like Adults was very much one that came out this year that feels like in the same realm. There
Overcompensating.
was I was gonna say Overcompensating, it definitely was one too, and both like really entertaining good shows. And then also I've caught up with the morning show, and season 4 just aired its finale, which I'm so stoked for TJ to get to a finale because each finale is so wild. Like I don't know, it's just you go in thinking it's going to be this like bubbly rom-com type show because Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston. It's not. It's a full-on drama. Like it's just a straight up drama of people trying to climb this corporate ladder, and each season finds this new thing to like latch into. And each season also brings in new talent. Like the latest season had William Jackson Harper. It has the actress who played Talia al Ghul in Dark Knight Rises is also in it. Like it has
It is funny seeing all the like promotion for this show and posters and things like that, and John Hamm is so central.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm not even close to meeting him yet.
I think he's season 3 or maybe season 2, one of the two. But he becomes a pretty prominent player as well. Aaron Pierre is in the newest season as well. Our new Green Lantern, which is cool. I love seeing him in new stuff. When Greta Lee starts in season 2, so you'll start seeing her in season 2. Obviously, an incredible actor, and it's just a wild show. Like every season, I'm like, there's no way they can keep that at the quality it started at, and they just keep proving me wrong time and time again. It's great. And then I've been kind of on this like Netflix, like trying to catch up on all these Netflix shows I've missed this year or in the last few years. So I watched 4 seasons that has Coleman Domingo, Steve Carell, Tina Fey, a ton of crazy actors. And at first you're watching it, and it is in the beginning, you're like, oh yeah, it's just a funny show. And then it just kind of knocks you off your feet, and you're like, oh damn, because it's really just a show about getting older and how to navigate relationships, not even just like marriages, but like friendships, and how you deal with death and how you deal with new people coming into the friend group. It basically follows there's like 3 couples, and they go on a
Sounds
trip,
like Stranger
and
Things.
just like Stranger Things.
Deals with
but
death, new people coming into the friend group, rotates around 3 couples.
It's just like Stranger Things, yeah, just without the the parallel universe with monsters. But it's like 8 episodes, but 2 episodes follow a season of the weather and them taking these little trips as a friend group. And it already got renewed for a season 2, and I'm excited to see where it goes. It leaves on a pretty good cliffhanger, so I'm interested to see how that comes with a season 2. But the one, and I've seen no one talking about this show, and I feel like I'm crazy that no one is talking about this show, but it's called Last Samurai Standing. Let me pitch the show to you. Okay. It's Squid Game, but with samurai. So it's Squid Game meets basically Ghost of Tsushima. It is wild. It's at the end of the samurai era. So all these samurai are like, there's a big sword ban in feudal Japan. All these people are without purpose. All of these families are dealing with cholera, and they're all poor, and they get this flyer throughout all of Japan being like, if you are a martial artist, come here for a chance to win an exorbitant amount of money that will change their life, help save their family that's dying from this disease. And they show up, and they're like, yep, it's pretty much a race to the death. So it's wild, and I can't believe no one is talking about this show. I feel like this should be the biggest show on TV right now. It's insane. It's
What
great.
is it? It's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. And that's
Okay.
probably why.
At 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
It is so good. And I've only watched 2 episodes, or maybe 3, but it is fucking insane. And I can't believe no one's hard. Thank you. Jam has watched all of it, which makes sense because he's an anime fan, and it does feel very anime in a lot of ways because it gives you the backstories as you're going forward and stuff like that. It's wild. Any of my friends who are in anime, I'm like, I send them the trailer. I'm like, you need to watch the show. They're like, yep, it seems like I do need to watch this show. I can't believe no one's talking about this. I feel like it should be as big or bigger than Squid Game because Who doesn't want to see a bunch of samurai just murdering each other? I don't know.
Is it almost all in Japanese?
No, I think it's all in American, which is weird because it feels
All
kind
in
of unnatural.
English.
All
English
in
is
English.
the language you're looking
Sorry,
for.
it's all in English. My bad.
England is my city.
Typical Americans thinking you're the
Yeah.
center of the world.
We are. It's okay.
Ooh.
Just
That's
kidding.
crazy.
But it is kind of jarring because I thought it was just kind of like, you can watch Squid Game. It's in Korean, but you can watch the English dub. And I was like, oh, did they just automatically put the English dub? But no, I just think all of them are speaking English because the words totally match. And I was like, that's so weird to have a show that's set in this time period in Japan and have everyone speak English. That's kind of weird. But because Shogun was incredible and it was all in Japanese, unless it was someone from Europe, and of course they spoke English.
If you guys are watching a show that is originally recorded in a foreign language, are you watching it sub or dub?
Anime dub, live action show subbed.
Okay, that's very valid. I'm sub both ways, but that's very valid.
I watched Shogun subbed.
Yeah, I it's to do it.
But I watched Squid Game dubbed for some reason. I don't know why.
I just can't get over if the lip movements don't match if it doesn't match like what they're saying. I'm like, I have to switch. I tried. I've been watching this show from Germany called Naxton Hall. It's all done in German. It's set in England, but it's like all in German. And so or Dutch. I don't know what but I think German. And I was like, I can't do this. Like I need to switch over to sub. And I'm like, and then I always remember that I have to lock in because sometimes I'll go on my phone and I'm like, can't do that.
Yeah, no, you gotta be paying.
Good for the ADHD that way. It's very good for the ADHD.
Yeah, so exactly, 100%. You get it's a good way to be like, I don't want to be staring at my phone right now. I keep looking at it, I don't want to. What can I watch? Bam. That's something with subtitles. Perfect way to do it. Anime is usually the only thing I'll do dub just because I'm the exact same way. Like the face, like when the mouths are moving and it's not matching what they're saying, I can't do it. But anime is usually pretty great at handling that.
You properly. Can adjust how you say words and the type of things that you're saying that will match up with what they're.
Yeah, 100%. Let's start talking about Stranger Things. And before we kind of recap the individual seasons, before we start getting into theories, before we start getting into spoilers, and when we talk spoilers, so what we'll try and do today is obviously there will be some spoilers for Stranger Things as we're going through, but we'll try and keep it contained to the season we are talking about. So when we're on season 1, we'll, for the most part, or we'll give you a extra spoiler warning, try and keep it to season 1. And so if you are in the middle of a rewatch right now, or you're in the middle of watching for the first time, and
I'm kind of jealous of you,
don't want to get and you don't want to get anything spoiled yet, we'll make sure we outline it for you. You can hit the pause button, finish what you're watching, and come back and join us. Yeah. I do want to know before we talked about it a little bit from Caroline's perspective already. I kind of want to know everyone's relationship to Stranger Things. Did you watch this when it was fresh coming out? Did you fall in love at the beginning? Did it take you a while? What was the life stage you were at? What does this show mean to you? Sean, I'll throw it to you first. How'd you get introduced to Stranger Things? And have you been there since day one?
I have been there since day one. I don't know what really got me into it. I think it was just a new show and I just watched it. I don't think there was anything that really brought me into it. But then I've just kind of been watching it as seasons come out, and I've always really loved it. And when season 4 came out, I was just like, how did they put out their best season as one of the last ones? I was kind of blown away by it. But yeah, I've just kind of been there from day one. And I think the rewatch kind of solidified what you've been saying as I do think it is probably the best or one of the best series in the streaming era for sure. Definitely one of the biggest impact, because there's so many people who say they're like, oh, we waited too long. The kids are old, even though they're 22, and they say they don't care. But as soon as that's on Netflix, they'll be watching.
Right.
Let's be real.
Correct.
Let's be real. It is the only show in all of Netflix that is immune to the Netflix problem. so many shows come out, like even Wednesday, I feel like season 2 came out and then it was gone. Like no one was talking about it. But when Stranger Things comes out, everyone is talking about that.
Cultural.
Everyone. Yeah. And I
You know
no
what
other
else does
Netflix
attest to
series.
that? Obviously not to like anywhere close to the same level, but you know what other show does have that a little bit? Bridgerton.
Oh yeah.
When Bridgerton drops, people watch it immediately and they talk about it.
And then they just like stop talking about it after a month because that's what the binge model does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really, again, I feel like I'm the best example of, wait, can I go? Or are you still going?
You go ahead.
Okay. We talked about this earlier. I grew up with Stranger Things in like the best way. I was born the same year as a lot of the cast. We talked about this earlier. But I watched it like right around when it first came out, season 1. Twitter, like I was just on Twitter and everyone was just slowly starting to talk about it more. It was all about Barb, and I was like, what is going on? Okay, I'm gonna tune into this. And it was all these kids that were my age. I was like,
who gives a damn
Barb.
about Barb?
It was just what I saw on my timeline. I was like, what is this? So I just turned it on, and I loved it. And it became such a huge part of my life. And growing up, I look back on moments. The cool thing about the show like taking a long time to make, except for like is that for a lot of us who grew up with it, you look back on the times or surrounding like the release of a Stranger Things season, and most of the time we're going to look back on it fondly because what was happening on the show and like the songs and the characters were directly impacting, I think, like pop culture at the time. So I look at 2019 and like summer 2019, like when you were my age, like it was all about Visco girls and like very neon bright filters, and everyone made their profile picture Alexi. That's another one that we'll get to later, like with the red Slurpee. It was like a thing to make a TikTok where you went to go like get your red Slurpee for Alexi. But it was such a huge part of what made that summer so memorable for a lot of people my age and younger, that it was like, and the same thing with summer of 2022. I feel like a lot of people are also looking back on that one. They were like, oh, I look back on this fondly because, you know, it surrounds the season of Stranger Things. And so I feel like it's become just it's become a comfort show, not necessarily one that I come back to frequently, but one that I look back on fondly. Season 2, I was really big into it. Like I was fixated on it the same way that like it was my summer I turned pretty. Like in high school I've dressed up as 11 for Halloween. Like I love it so much. It means a lot to me and I can't wait to go back and revisit it. Sorry I went on a long rant, but I got a lot of love.
I know that when you find a character that you love, it becomes an active part, if not of your personality, of your activities, your hobby, right? Like you don't make the character your personality, but that love is greatly impacts your day to day. And correct. So whether it's Wanda Maximoff or Lola Tongue as Belly, who were in Stranger Things, who were the ones that you're watching and go, oh wow, this is my guy, this is my girl?
Okay, the great question. For me, for a lot of it, I think I loved 11. Again, I love a supernatural telekinesis superpower girl. And 11 is very much that. I feel like you can't, you can't say Stranger Things without 11. She is just an icon. I dressed up as 11 for Halloween. So most of the time, if there's a character that I really love, 99% of the time, I'm going to dress up as them for Halloween. And so I have been 11. And then my other one, Nancy Wheeler. I loved Nancy the second I saw her in season 1. When I was like, even when I was the same age as the kids, I was like, I'm kind of stan Nancy. I think she's the coolest. I think she's like a badass. Like there's this moment in season 2 where Hopper is like, has this gun and he's like, can anyone use this? And she just is like, she's like so petite. She's like, I can't. And then
And
she
from
goes
every
in.
time there's guns being used after that, Nancy is always front and center from that
And it's
moment forward for the
awesome.
rest of the
And it's
series.
awesome every single time. Like I'm like, this is so good. But even like before then, I always just loved her as a character. I think in season 3 she has a really good arc. When she kind of joins the local newspaper, but the men are kind of giving her crap, and she has to kind of stand up for herself. I love that. I love that Robin helps her out too. But I think for me, it was like, you know, who am I dressing up as for Halloween 11? But who's like underrated, one of my faves, Nancy, for sure. I love her. I can't wait to see her this season.
I'm picturing 10-year-old Caroline just being like, "No, Mom, I'm only gonna have Eggos. Nothing other than
I was
Eggos."
old. I mean, I was maybe like 12 or 13. Yeah, there was a phase a little bit where I did have Eggos for breakfast because of Stranger Things. I think that was just very much. But like everyone did that though. Like, I don't know. It was just a thing. Like I could drive by the time season 3 came out. So like I had free will. And so I'd go to 7-Eleven and get my Alexi Slurpees. And now I kind of love the red Slurpee flavor, even though I'm a blue loyalist. I like, well, sometimes like, oh, I gotta get a red Slurpee. Like they're just so good.
Sean, how about you? Who are some of your standouts in this series? Feel free to focus on season 1 if you want to address the ones that come later, kind of when they come up, but toss any of them out now as well.
Yeah, I think Dustin, I feel like he's like my series MVP. He is like the unsung hero, I think, of this entire series. He even says it himself. He makes his own bold claim. I love him. Like, obviously we'll get into Steve and his arc. I don't really like relate to him, but I love his character growth throughout the whole thing. And I can't not mention Eddie. Eddie's the best.
Oh, I'll get to Eddie.
Eddie is the best.
I had a in high school, I had a Christmas sweater that said "All I want for Christmas is Steve Harrington." I loved Steve. Season 2 was a big moment.
Steve and Dustin are two of my favorites as well. Like, it doesn't get better in this show to me than the Steve and Dustin relationship. That is just great. Like my favorite thing in this entire show. So I'll give the edge to Steve as well. I do want us to rank our favorite seasons in order.
Ooh.
Because I feel like I may have a little bit of a controversial take here.
I think I already know your take.
Sean, I think yours is, if I'm not mistaken, it's the chalk. It's what it is for most people. So you go first.
Yeah, mine's season 4, season 1.
Okay.
Season 3, season 2.
I thought you had 1 over 4, so I was wrong.
No. I mean, 1 is generational and lightning in a bottle. But what 4? It's like the same thing. I like Endgame more than Infinity War, and I know it's a hot take, but I love a culmination, and I love when things tie together in a nice little bow. And season 4 is that. Everything is ramped to 11, pun intended, and just the way things start connecting is so masterful and awesome. And even rewatching, and how can you say anything is less than when the finale is literally a movie? Like, yeah, it's insane what they pull off in season 4. It's like unfathomable. Like I rewatching it, I was like, this is a marvel in TV in general. Because who does that? It's incredible.
Season finale is absolutely incredible of season 4. Having said that, I think obviously you can't just say, well, without it, it's not as good as this, because it's part of it. You can't. Without the best part, it's not as good. Well, yeah, you take the best part of anything and it's not as good. But I still think that's enough to drop it behind season 1 for me. To have to go season 1 first, season 4 second. And I will say, this is where I get controversial. Season 2, season 3 at the bottom.
That is my exact ranking. Thank you.
I love season 2.
I love season 2. Season 2 is spooky. It's like Halloween vibes. It's so like quintessentially Stranger Things, but also like I love what they do with Will in that season. I don't want to take too much of your spotlight, TJ, because you were the one that brought up the ranking, but yes, that is the correct ranking.
That's exactly how I feel as well. It's the one where the squad feels most together for.
Mm-hmm.
And although 11 is separated and we do have
the Lost Sister,
undeniably the worst episode in Stranger Things.
Oh, I liked it. But I was also like, I don't know, 14 when I watched it for the first time, so I can't really say much. I just like
one of those things where it's like, it's not that it's terrible.
Pretty bad.
It's out of place. It's
Yeah.
so out of place.
It
It doesn't
feels
make
like-
Very out
sense
of place.
for the story. You can like, if you don't watch that episode and you just skip it,
Yeah.
episode 8 picks up immediately where episode 6 left off, and episode 6 leaves off on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, without, like, why is it there? If
Right.
you really wanted this episode, why is it there? You just like, and so that is like definitely the, as much as 4 is amplified by the season finale, I do think season 2 has that like stain on it that everybody looks back on and like, oh, the Goth 11 episode. And while I don't think it's that bad in a vacuum, there's a lot of lore things that are important in it. Like, it's weird, it's not great, but there's a lot of important storytelling within that episode.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, yeah.
And
It
plus,
is
she went
undoubtedly the least like.
She goes to Chicago.
There you go.
Which
You
makes
do
me very
get
happy.
your hometown of Chicago there, so that is a good point. I think
Um,
it's time to start getting into some spoiler territory, shall we?
okay. I want to talk about why I don't know.
You go your ranking. No, go longer on your rankings.
Okay,
'cause
one
you kind of combined and you
season
didn't
1
finish.
is just elite. Season 4 is just, I mean, I feel like every episode is a movie almost. Like, I know we're saying that the finale was a Marvel movie. I almost felt like every single episode was a Marvel movie, and I'm hearing that's what season 5 is. That'll be fun. Season 2, again, fall vibes. I thought what they did with Will was great. I thought I miss Bob. He was great. And then, sorry everyone. But season 3, I just felt like I don't know. I think the whole mall thing was interesting. I like that a lot of the outfits that the characters were wearing, they felt like costumes because they felt more quintessentially 80s because that's what the mall brought. I think the vibes of that season release were the best, but I don't know. I just feel like I look back on that season and I'm like, okay, like this feels like I remember the least from it. And I remember a lot about Stranger Things. I just don't really remember. I just found that one very forgettable. Although there were some moments that are pretty great. We'll get into it when we talk about it.
Another Chicago shout out in the YouTube chat from Brandon Moore. Of course, Brandon is in Chicago as well. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us live in the YouTube chat. Jam, Brandon, AF, Damon, and everybody that is popping in. We thank you. We are happy you're hanging out with us. And even if you're live or coming in after the fact, don't forget to hit that like button and let us know in the comment section what your favorite season of Stranger Things is. Give us your rankings. Give it to us in order. And you can also let us know on socials at Agents Fandom on TikTok and Twitter, Agents of Fandom everywhere else. We're not going to get shout out to the retro recap fans, which if I'm not mistaken, it's just like, Jam likes it, Brandon likes it, AF likes it. That might be it. It's not super popular, but we're going to get it there. We're not going to have just one retro recap today. We're going to have 4 because we're going to do ones for each of these seasons. And so I thought the most appropriate way to do a retro recap set in the 80s would be in that 80s and 90s style movie trailer format. Shout out to Family Video. I love the fact that Family Video pops up in season 4 because we have Family Video here. I don't feel like that was a super common chain, but here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, we had Family Video. I remember going to Family Video to rent movies, rent video games. They had a cool little like yellow tunnel that like went up vertically that you could climb up and it would go into a little tube slide that you could slide down. It was a ton of fun. Shout out to Family Video. And it's time for our first retro recap of season 1. In a small town in Indiana, the people of Hawkins live happy, simple lives. Or so they think. When a darkness invades this normal little town, the fate of all their lives and the world rests in the hands of the young D&D loving group of nerds. Can they fend off the terror? Or will the kidnapping of their friend be too much for the lovable gang of misfits to overcome? And it's time to talk about season 1. Sean, I like the idea of you being, and everybody who has a thought, feel free to chime in at any point. I will, Caroline, if you want to invade Sean's segment, we'll do it.
Okay.
But Sean, as the music guy, as a show about being a nerd, season 4 about being metal. You are the metalcore nerd. That is you. And so it makes sense that you would kind of lead us on the top needle drops in season 1, because there are some big ones throughout this series.
Yes, season 1, I would say, should I stay or should I go? Obviously, a massive one and a massive through line. And if you've watched the first 5 minutes of season 5, it's a big.
Yes.
A lot of these songs come back, which
Yeah.
is cool. It is a thing in season 2. Also,
I have my best needle drops written, and this is the only one I had for season 1. So great pick.
And then there's also, what is it? Moby, When It's Cold, I'd Like to Die. That is also it's near the end of season 1. It comes back in season 3. Those are the 2 big ones I picked for season 1.
Should I stay or should I go? Definitely the theme of season 1. Like most of these seasons, especially 1 and 4, kind of have these themes with some Kate Bush coming later on, and of course, should I stay or should I go? In this one being integral for fending off and fighting off the evils of the Upside Down. Caroline, I'll throw this one to you first. Who is your MVP of season 1?
I had 2 written. I had 11, who you could honestly say that 11 is the MVP of every single season. Like she is, because she's the only one with the powers. She does kind of do a lot to help wrap up the plot. I'm only going to say her for season 1 though, because I really think that this is her big moment. This is her this is 11 in her most iconic form. She's in the pink dress. She's got her Eggos in her arms. She's got the white, yellow and green tube socks. She's riding on the back of Mike's bike. She's flipping that truck over. I mean, that's just imagery that is in everybody's head when you think of 11. And I think this one really, she does she's also the one that beats the Demogorgon at the end. She's the coolest in this season. But also I will say Joyce Byers, she's never let up on trying to find her son. She knew that something was off. She knew she was intuitive. She kept she was smart. And she knew that something was wrong, which I find very exciting. And plus, I think that's also because, and this is something that's not a lot of people are talking about, there is a Stranger Things play on Broadway right now called Stranger Things: The First Shadow. One of my best friends saw it. She loved it. But apparently,
we're going to be getting into this in season 5 theories.
Okay, amazing. Because apparently the plot of what happens in that show directly impacts what happens in season 5. But yeah, no, I think Joyce, she did not give up on her child, and she made sure everyone knew it. And I think that, and plus she drew the lights on the wall. That is also just iconic Stranger Things imagery, and she's responsible for that. So 11 and Joyce are my choices.
Joyce is such a great call. She is just viewed by the whole town as the crazy lady grieving her son in this one, and she doesn't give up. There is no season without Joyce Byers, so I think that's a really good call. Sean, how about you? Who sticks out as your MVP of season 1?
Mine was Joyce, the obvious MVP. Obviously, 11's kind of the main character of this whole thing, but 11 wouldn't be 11 without everyone else. She kind of needs that to prop it up. And Joyce was on her own mission.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw that through to the end. And she was right. She convinced everyone along the way. And she was unstoppable this season. She's kind of unstoppable in most of them, but especially this season, in season 1, she is the driving force to find poor little William.
Well, that's also very iconic. Well, her calling out for him. So good.
I can't disagree with Joyce whatsoever. That's who I was leaning to as well. But I do want to give a shout out. I didn't pick him because I will be picking him in a later season. But I got to shout out Steve Harrington, who, if Joe Keery wasn't so incredible in this role, Steve Harrington would be dead. The Duffer Brothers have talked about it. Steve Harrington was not supposed to survive season 1.
Oh,
Steve Harrington was supposed to just be the bully, the douchey high school guy who dies at the end of the season. And they face turned him. They took him from being the heel. They face turned him, and you can literally see the exact point in the season where the script change happens.
Yeah.
Where it's like douchey Steve, douchey Steve, douchey Steve. And then the very next episode, he's turning to his friends. And he's like, man, you guys suck. Like the graffiti thing, really? And it's like, you were just on board with that about 30 seconds of showtime ago.
Right.
And so you can see when the script turns, but I'm happy that it did. Like my MVP of season 1 is that script change to make Steve Harrington be part of the protagonist team instead of killing him off and keeping him as a douche who dies in season 1. So
yeah.
MVP is Joyce, but honorable mention to the script change to keep Steve Harrington included throughout the season. I guess that kind of leads us into favorite character arc, and that is my choice for favorite character arc. It's Steve the douche to Steve the babysitter, because that's all time to me. That's all time. There's not a whole lot that gets better than Steve with the bat, like that's iconic Stranger Things. And so that is probably my favorite character arc. It bleeds a little bit into the start of season 2, but that's what I'm going to go with. And I do just want to give a quick shout out to, like I talked about, we were rewatching this, Sean, but then after I rewatch each season, I also listened to the like Stranger Things Revisited from House of R, the House of R podcast with Mallory Rubin and friend of the show, Joanna Robinson, who of course is the co-author of MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios. We've had her here on the podcast. And so they were doing like their Stranger Things superlatives where they'd pick like your favorite 80s nostalgia moment, your favorite this. And the thing I always thought was so funny is they'd have the scariest moment of the season. And for season 1, Joanna Robinson picked Jonathan Byers taking photos of Nancy.
Oh my God, yes.
That was the scariest moment of the season.
Honestly, for me, that's such a good, my scariest moment though was the very first scene of the whole show, is when the doctor guy is running through the halls and then he just gets scooped up and you're like, what is this? I also shout out to the opening scene of the kids playing D&D. I think, like, I feel like if you go to a screenwriting class and they want to teach you, like if you're a professor trying to teach your students how to write an effective opening scene, this is a scene that I feel like people should look at, because in about 5 to 10 minutes, you understand who these kids are, their relationship to each other, their relationship to the rest of the town. You understand Mike's dynamic. You kind of understand Will's family dynamic a little bit. You get little bits and bits and pieces through them playing D&D of all of their personalities. Especially Will at the very end, right as he leaves, he says, I rolled a 7, like the Demogorgon, it got me. He's just a naturally, like, he's an honest, cute, kind kid. And I just think that scene just establishes everything you need to know so well. And so shout out to that scene. One of my favorites in the whole show.
Very beautifully said. I forgot until I had rewatched this show, but season 1 Will Byers is so damn cute.
I know.
That's just such a cute little baby. That is
That's why when I watched season 5, like the first 5 minutes of it, and it was like a weird, like almost like Mandalorian Luke Skywalker trying to like de-age him, but I was like, no, like where's my baby? Where's my child?
When they de-aged 11 in season 4, it looks incredible.
It looks so good, which is why I was shocked when I watched this, and I was like, he looks so weird.
I agree.
I think because a lot of it's in action. That's why.
Yeah, I think that must be it.
It's not a still face. It's
different lighting too. You're like,
they are very picky with 11 because they show most of her in the flashback in her current form.
Yeah,
and she only kind of sees it in the mirror and stuff. They are very choosy with that.
Yeah,
I still thought the DH Will looked pretty solid though. I didn't think it was as bad as Mandalorian, the first Mandalorian. The Book of Boba Fett Luke looks pretty damn good, but season 2 finale Luke, not good.
No.
And I know this is off topic, but when you have, although is Star Wars off topic when you're talking about Stranger Things? I don't know that it is. I think it's kind of still on topic.
No, but
it does. Yeah, exactly. It does blow my mind that they even try to put Mark Hamill's face on Luke Skywalker when the dude who they're using to put the face on looks exactly like young Mark Hamill. He's the spitting image of him.
If you've ever seen, like, yeah, and even in Stranger Things too, like the girl that they got to be like the stand-in for Little 11, I was like, oh my God, it's like, it looks, I felt like Millie Bobby Brown was looking in a mirror, like herself as a kid when she saw that girl that played her. She looked so much like Millie, but I don't know. I think I saw the kid that they got for Noah. I didn't see it nearly as much. That's just me though.
Sean, who's your favorite character arc in season 1?
Hopper.
Oh, that's such a good one.
Because I think people forget like how much of just a straight fuck up
yeah, he is.
Like so bad. Like he does not care. He's drunk. He is just barely even present. And then he starts to believe Joyce, and then he gets in with Joyce, and by the end, he's like, I think it becomes fully realized at like the end of season 2, where he finally goes past his trauma with his daughter and everything like that. But like season 1, from episode 1 to the finale, it's like it's almost as drastic as Steve's character arc.
Yeah,
and I didn't say Steve personally because I have him saved for another one, but they're all in the same kind of cloth as far as that. But yeah, Hopper was mine for season 1 because I forgot how like terrible he was. Not even like being a terrible person, just like he was so checked out of life. Like he did not care about anything at all. And then from like episode 1 to the finale, it's total 180. So shout out Hopper for getting his stuff together.
Slight spoiler for season 4, but I'll keep the context out of it. It does set up one of the best monologues of the whole series in season 4, where he's talking about, I did all of these things because I thought they needed me, but now I understand they didn't need me at all. I needed them. They were filling the hole that I had left unattended and never filled. It's beautiful. It's an incredible, incredible speech. And we don't get that without, like you said, fuck up Hopper in season 1. Caroline, how about you? Who's your favorite season 1 arc?
Oh, I'm gonna have an interesting pick here. I kind of love Mike's arc in season 1. I like how I'm gonna bring up Maleven. This is gonna be my first Maleven mention because I think of course. I mean, but I do think I love how he slowly, like, he kind of thinks he's like this big, like, almost like a tough guy, but he still like gets bullied a little bit. But every time I think of season 1, I think of the way that he brings in 11 and he slowly starts like softening a little bit. And you start to see her like slowly chip away at this kind of, I feel like, almost facade that he had built for himself. And at the very end, like, he's just in awe of her, of everything and her, I think. But I don't know, I just really liked what they did. I love him in season 1, and maybe that's just nostalgia because I grew up with Finn Wolfhard as a character, like as a actor that I've grown up with. But I love what they did with him in season 1. He always he wants to find his best friend, like, but I just love the way that she kind of chips away at kind of his hard shell exterior a little bit.
There's a lot of speculation on who another Stranger Things star could be playing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with Sadie Sink here in Spider-Man Brand New Day, and now we found
Doomsday
out Avengers Secret Wars.
Oh no, Secret Wars. Yeah, Secret Wars.
Yeah, because the one she said she's going to London to film next year an Avengers movie. And so with that being the case, a lot of people are saying, because the red hair, it's Jean Grey. Is she going to be Gwen Stacy? Is she going to be Peter and MJ's baby from another dimension? Like, lots of different, that's a rumor I've heard a lot of, actually, is that she's going to be Mayday Parker. Like, potentially Toby and Kirsten Dunst's Mayday Parker.
That would be so awesome. I love her too. I love Sadie Sink very, very much.
I have always, like, what I was getting to with this, I have always thought when they do the X-Men, if the X-Men are young, Finn Wolfhard should be Nightcrawler.
He'd be such a Nightcrawler. Oh my gosh, yes.
he's German even. Well, I got to assume the name Wolfhard probably sounds something around there. And he's got. I just picture if you've ever seen the TV show X-Men Evolution.
Yep.
Finn Wolfhard is that Nightcrawler. That version of Nightcrawler is just like he looks like him. Obviously, he's not blue, but like I think it could really, really work. Any other final thoughts?
I totally see it. Same with Wolverine and the X-Men. That's also one of my underrated faves. And Nightcrawler spends a lot of time with Wanda in that. So yeah, both. Finn Wolfhard's a great pick for Nightcrawler.
Ducky.
Not technically canon with each other, but kind of like a spiritual sequel to X-Men Evolution. Wolverine and the X-Men that was originally supposed to be like the continuation of X-Men Evolution. Jam in chat saying Finn Wolfhard would be a good Nightwing. No, sir, because if Finn Wolfhard is Nightwing, that means Mason Thames can't be.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is our guy for Nightwing. Any other final season 1 thoughts before we bounce over to season 2?
No, I think we talked about Sadie Sink. I'm ready to go. Let's talk about season 2.
After risking their lives to save Hawkins, 11, Mike, Will, Dustin, and Lucas are finally safe. Or are they? As their new friend Max mixes up the group dynamics, a new evil looms, forcing our favorite young fools to face their most dangerous foe yet, the Mind Flayer. All right, Sean, season 2. Give me our best needle drops.
Obviously, Ghostbusters theme song. I smiled so hard on rewatch. I'm like, oh, that's so great. And then Every Breath You Take.
Such a devastating moment.
Yeah.
Terrifying moment of like, Caroline, I want your perspective of watching this show at that age of like, what if you were the only one at your school who showed up in a Halloween costume and everybody else was just like, nah, we don't do this anymore.
That happened to me on multiple occasions on like spirit days and stuff. I mean, they're like encourage you to dress up, and so I'd like show up to school in a onesie, and then no one else would be dressed up, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? But the thing is, like, yeah, I feel like in my like when I was that age, like everyone would just kind of like slyly make comments at you and be like, but on the show they're a lot more like nerd, like you're so weird, like calling it out directly to them. That wouldn't happen, but like instead the popular girl, the bully, is gonna text another bully and be like, what is she wearing? That's so weird. Why would she wear that? But yeah, that has happened to me on some occasions, but mainly when I was like freshman, sophomore, not really junior, senior. I think once we got to junior, senior, I like kind of I knew what I was getting into. But I would always, I think sophomore year, I got a Dustin hat from the like Halloween, Spirit Halloween. I just wore a random green t-shirt and went to school as Dustin. So it was like, also you can make it regular clothes and be fine. But yeah, no, that was a funny one. Cause that would not, the awkwardness would not have been as visible in my generation, but it was cute. It was funny. It was kind of expected.
Poor Dustin. Guys, why is no one else dressed up? John, hit me with the next needle drop.
The other one I had for the season is Every Breath You Take by the Police.
This was my pick. Great pick.
Down to the snowball, getting to obviously come back in season 4 as part of Max's mind palace, getting away from the darkness.
I know, but that song is also so good too because it's like a love song. The song is originally released in the context of a love song, but it's also kind of like at the very end they have the mind flayer. I'll be watching you, and he's like watching over all of them. I know that was probably very obvious to both of you, but that was always one of my favorite moments of season 2 when I was watching it growing up.
I agree with you 100%. It is very well done. I don't have much to say because I've talked about it already, but my co-MVPs for season 2, it's Steve and Dustin. Steve and Dustin relationship, it's just chef kiss. It's the best thing in the show to me. You're just jealous because I'm getting another older male friend. The setup for season 4 is just incredible line. How does he respond?
So good.
Ew. Sean, who's your MVP of season 2?
Dustin.
I had Steve.
Dustin through and through.
Give me your Dustin reasoning.
He is the one that's left by himself. He knows he's like figuring all of this out, and then he goes to Steve and they figure it out together, and that's the start of their beautiful blooming friendship that continues in season 3. And so on, but like I think this is really like the inception of that. It makes sense why you picked both, because I get it. I just love him, and I love him having a girlfriend that no one believes he has, and the payoff for that, the best. Or no, that was season 3. Season 3 is the girlfriend one, but my bad. But yeah, I don't know. I just love Dustin. And you mentioned the tooth thing, because obviously his baby teeth grew in, and that was a big thing in season 1 of people making fun of. I don't think they referenced it that much. They did reference it probably more than the normal person would, but he's proud of his teeth, dude. Let him be proud. He's a grown boy.
Turn around. Look at what you see.
Oh, that's coming.
Oh yeah, we're in Target. Yeah, that's
in
great.
your face. The mirror of your dreams.
Yeah, that moment, and I wish, like, I'm gonna touch on it briefly because we're gonna talk about it season 3. That moment introduced that song to a whole new generation of people, and now most people my age or younger would probably be able to sing that song because of that. By the way, just to bring that up. My pick was Steve. I think that's an obvious one. I know you picked Steve and Dustin, and you picked Dustin, and then I picked Steve. So we're rounding this out. I feel like this is like just an obvious highlight of this whole season. It was just such a fun turn for him, for Steve. I also like. Of course, I had a crush on Joe Keery. Like I was 15. Like it was amazing. Like it was so good. He had the big mullet with the Farrah Fawcett hair with the sunglasses. I have a Funko of it. That's like one of the Funkos that I've kept because I've gotten rid of a lot of my collection. But the Steve with the gloves and the gray jacket and the sunglasses is one that I felt like I had to keep. It's just so good.
How good was Sabrina Carpenter arresting Joe Keery at her concert?
Oh my gosh. My Sabrina poster's right over there. Yeah, that was so great. I think I saw, no, that was another night of Lollapalooza, but no, that was so cute. He was like ecstatic. It was almost like watching
like,
Steve. That's what Steve would do.
That was Steve Harrington.
Also, another thing that he did that was really iconic was he officiated his friend's wedding on Halloween in the Scoops Ahoy outfit. Yeah. He contacted the costume designer for Stranger Things to ship him the costume so he could officiate this Halloween wedding in the Steve outfit, which, you know what, if I was friends with Joe Keery and had free will and had my wedding on Halloween, that's probably what I would do too. So props to that couple. Okay. You guys, just unbelievable job with that.
I feel like it could have got really annoying for them really quick, but both Joe Keery and Maya Hawke have both just been like so willing to revisit that and be silly whenever fans stop them or friends try and get them to do stuff. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Caroline, sticking with you, who's your favorite character arc this season?
Oh, I mean, Steve, obviously. I think, again, his turn is really good, but I also love Lucas and Max. I think, again, Lucas is also a character that kind of has a bit of a shell, and I think Max, kind of softens them up a little bit. I think there's this scene of them on the bus, like, they're waiting, I think, for the Mind Flayer. Again, I didn't to do a full rewatch right before this, but I remember him being like totally tubular and he's just making her laugh. And again, that is a relationship that gets a lot of really good evolution and depth, especially in season 4, but in season 2, like when they're just kiddos and they're like smitten for each other, I love it. And I love Max's arc specifically too. I think her with her brother Billy, who we didn't really get to talk about that much, but yeah, Billy, this is the season where Billy gets introduced too. And just, she's also a bit of a misfit, and I like that they took her in, and she is, I mean, season 4 spoilers, so sorry. I need her back. She's the coolest. I love her arc in season 2. Her trying to get through the connection to Billy. and sort of find her way in this group of kids. You know, they just lost 11. She was such a huge part of who they were. And like, she's just other girl coming in. How is she going to change things up? But she holds her own. She's a master at Dig Dug. She's the cool. I loved her.
I feel like there's honestly more to talk about with, oh my gosh, how am I brain farting on Doc Ray Montgomery's name right now? Billy. I feel like there's more to talk about with Billy in season 3 than season 2, because season 2 Billy, it's like, well, you're a
I
fucking
suck.
asshole.
Yeah,
And
I suck,
that's kind of it.
Here I am, I suck.
Yeah.
But I like that what they do with Max specifically, and how she has to kind of get out of his shadow a little bit.
Max is my favorite character arc throughout season 2. Like, she just starts being so distant, so isolated, and we see just her grow and glow when she realizes there are people who love her, people who want to be with her, people who want to be friends with her. And it's my favorite arc from season 2 for sure. But it does just make it so fucking painful, Sean, when you show me a clip referencing season 2 Sam and Lucas, weaving it in with season 4 Sam and Lucas.
Woo! I felt the pain you needed to too.
Sean, I want to ask who your favorite character arc is, but first, I need to know, do you accept the risk?
Oh my God. Caroline, you may have forgotten this. In season 2, when Lucas finally lets Max in the group,
yes,
he says, "Do you?"
I
accept
know. I
the
remember
risk?
this, and she shakes his hand. No,
and saying, "Your lives are at stake," and it makes season 4 hit. Season 4 already hit like a brick wall. Seeing those smash cut together, I was like, I'm going to jump off a cliff.
The edits of that scene, oh my God, Lucas and Max, I'm a 11 truther because that's what I grew up on season 1. But I think truly the best couple on the whole show is Lucas and Max. I mean, they're just the best every single time. They care about each other so much. But yeah, no, that, oh God, do you accept the I think I've seen it in edits for sure, because I'll go back and watch
such a little moment. And that's like, on this rewatch, I think TJ and I share the same sentiment, but I think there is just so much, I think, overlooked by a lot of people of what the Duffer Brothers did character and story wise in these 4 seasons that I think is unmatched by a lot of TV. And I think what they have done is something truly incredible. And I think it is vastly overlooked by a lot of people. And it's so good. But my favorite character arc of season 2 is Steve. I think that's when everything from season 1 comes completely full circle. And I think it's part of his relationship with Dustin and them kind of really forging that bond. He truly becomes the babysitter. I think that's it for sure. So yeah, Steve's my favorite for season 2 character arc.
All right. On request from our guy Jam, often here co-hosting with us on the podcast. Shout out to the co-hosts hanging out in the YouTube chat. Damon popped in, Jam popping in, and Brandon is going to be special announcement. We're talking Percy Jackson next month, and Brandon Moore is going to be joining me with Jam for our weekly Percy Jackson episodes as well. So stay tuned with that one. But Jam did request the Legend of Korra Shiro's Shinobi style retro recap for one of these, and so I can't let him down. I got you for season 3. Ahoy, ladies! Would you like to set sail on this ocean of flavor? Because Hawkins, Indiana just got a whole lot spicier. Teenage years are scary for everyone, but when the Mind Flayer returns, the local mall is no longer safe waters. Will 11's power be enough to stop it? Or will Russia's secret experiments under Hawkins prove too much to take? Sean, season 3 needle drops.
Obviously. Never-ending story.
So good.
Come on.
Turn around. Look at what you see
in her face. Oh my gosh.
And,
so good.
Lucas and Max making fun of Dustin. It's just the best. The best. And then I have Heroes by Peter Gabriel, which is also played in season 1.
Oh yeah, it
Nice
is.
little callback.
Remind me, set the stage. What is the needle drop with Heroes? Where are we at in the season?
I think it's when 11, like, pretty sure it's right when 11 has her big hero moment.
Or is it when she reads the note from Hopper?
Oh yeah, it might be at the end. You might
I
be
think
right.
it's when she reads the note from Hopper. I feel like I remember like crying during that and hearing that song again. I was like, they play this in season 1.
Yep, at the very end of season 3. Yep, that's in the very end. Season 1.
It plays when Hawkins.
It's when they find fake Will.
Yeah,
stuffed Will.
Taxidermied Will.
Yeah, how weird is that? Like Hopper
that was very odd.
and there's stuffing in it. That's so on rewatch. I was
like why?
Was it like
why wasn't that just
a dummy or something? Like how did that work? I just am so confused.
Government cover bros.
Yeah, they can just do anything. evil government. My favorite evil drop though is underrated. It's Material Girl by Madonna. When Max and 11 are
great.
shopping in the mall. It's just so good. It's very much captures the essence of season 3, I think, very well of them. Like, and 11, I dump your ass. Like she's like her trying to find her way, and Max is like guiding her. Oh my god, it's so good.
I think there's just something so special about, and I'm sure this wasn't the case for everybody, but for a large percentage of the population, there's something so special about the mall when you're that age, right? It's like the first place you can kind of go to with your friends without your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have like such a memory of, it was about an hour bike. It was like, but I remember just like biking through the trails every Saturday for a stretch with my friend to get downtown. We would walk up our bikes. We'd spend a day at the mall, like maybe we just got cell phones we might have just got our first cell phone. So trying to text somebody we know, trying to tell them to meet up at the mall, maybe find a girl and just say like, hey, meet us at the mall. Let's walk around, because what else are you going to do? You're going to walk around. And after this, go to our favorite stores, grab some food, and then go to the mall movie theater and finish the day with a movie, bike home. Like
sneak in. That's what you just sneak in though. You don't you find a way to sneak in rather than actually buying a ticket. Yeah. I did at least.
And it was just like perfect days.
Yeah.
Those
were the days.
All your only obligation is like, I have to be home at this time.
Right.
Other than that, we just get to go have fun. And so that is a really, really special part of season 3. My MVP for season 3, I don't think it's particularly close. It's Robin.
Yeah.
Robin's got to be the season 3 MVP, right? Sean, how about you? Who do you got?
I mean, Robin's included in mine because I just put the whole Scoops Troupe.
I also put the Scoops Troupe.
Undeniable.
I mean, Erica.
Robin's in there. Oh, child endangerment.
Oh my god.
Shout out Robin for Robin is the new character MVP. Maya Hawke is incredible, but also we thought that shit. She's laughing her ass off on the drugs, on the truth-telling drugs or whatever it is.
Oh my god.
She solved their secret Russian code. Quick. That was no problem for old Robin, and she's such an incredible character addition to this show. Like I was one that immediately when I meet Robin and I see Robin and Steve, I'm like Dustin, right? I'm shipping Robin and Steve. I love it. I want them to get together. I think they're great. I think she brings out the best in him. And what they did was even better.
What a great twist. Well,
that
not twist,
moment
but
where she comes out to Steve, that to me is like one of the biggest indicators of who Steve is as a person now in comparison to who Steve was as a person when we first met him.
Mm-hmm.
The way he reacts, and it's just like nothing changes. You're still my friend, and I'm going to make fun of you for who you like because that's what friends do. And it was just really, really great, and I thought it was awesome. But Sean, you first, then Caroline. Why are we picking Scoop Troupe?
I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like they're the reason everything happened. Like Robin breaks the Russian code. Dustin is figuring out the radio frequencies, and them breaking into the secret Russian base is crazy. It's so insane, and it makes because it is kind of like a very 80s trope to like, oh yeah, of course the Russians are the guys. And it makes that ridiculous plot point feel so grounded in a way. And the inclusion of Erica obviously being just, she's great anyway, but involving her and then somehow getting out of it. And I mean, this was a great too, because almost every season, you see the team end up like, you have the separate teams and they combine at the end in some way, which I always thought was funny because they're always like working at the same thing but separately. And then they finally, and they're like, wait, how do you know about this? Like, we've known the whole time. What are you talking about? Where have you been? And that's always funny to me. And I think obviously we're gonna get to I think season 4 does it in such a fascinating way where they're all doing the same thing, and then but they've grown so much, even the parents, of knowing they must be on top of this. So
Everybody but
they all
one
help each
character.
other.
We'll get there. But in season 4, I have a negative character arc because there's somebody who does not go through one.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, Scoopers, and they're the catalyst of this season. Well, the catalyst to kind of get to the end point. Like everyone else is kind of dealing with the Billy stuff, and they're the ones infiltrating the Russians. I mean, obviously Joyce and Hopper get there too in a very different way, but Scoop Troop for the win. The best team, best squad.
Yeah. I don't have much to add. I just think that their chemistry was just off the charts. This is a group that works with each other so well. One of my favorite moments is when I think Erica is trying to get Steve to like drink water, and it's like this radioactive, like gross, like random mysterious liquid, and she goes, if the human body doesn't get water, it will die. And then Robin goes, that's not water. And she's like, yeah, but it's a liquid. I think that Erica for me, like, actually might even be my season 3 MVP. Like, Scoop Troop in general, yes, but she's just so funny. Like, she's so sassy. Like, she's so spunky. I like that they took this, what was probably supposed to be like this one-off character in this scene of like her kind of making jabs at Lucas, when he's in his Ghostbusters costume, and he's like, and they turned her into this, like, they've taken that and they've just expanded on it and made her like the sassiest, most fun, amazing character ever. I love watching her. Pry Ferguson does an amazing job with her. And I love when she like eats up Murray too. She's like, you Bob bastard. And I'm like, and then she's like, why is this 2-year-old talking to me? She's like, oh, don't even go there.
Who's the asshole from season 4?
Yeah.
Who's the asshole jock from season 4?
Jason?
Jason guy.
When she pairs Jason a new asshole, that's my favorite Erica moment.
Oh my god, she is just she brings such a levity to that. To a lot of the times, like, there can be so much going on, but she brings a lot of really fun quips again, and you're putting her in a group with like the funniest people on the show. You put her in with Steve, Robin, and Dustin, and like you just have gold. And I love her so much. Underrated character for sure. But
that's
the whole Scoop Troop.
That's just facts.
That's just facts.
Sean, favorite character arc from season 3?
It is Billy. Because he goes from obviously pretty awful person, gets infected by the mind flare, and then does some really bad stuff, but you can see he really doesn't want to be doing it and he really regrets it, and at the end he sacrifices himself to save the day. You don't win without that Billy sacrifice. That's very a fact. True.
That's just facts. Caroline, how about you? Favorite arc from season 3?
Ooh, mine, there are so many good ones. I'm trying to think back on it. Lucas, Dustin. I brought up Nancy earlier because I kind of like her sort of having to deal with men arc is a good one. And I like, again, at the end when she gets that gun and she like shoots the mind flare just straight up, but I'm like, oh my god, you're awesome. But I think my answer would have to be Robin. She's just so funny. And then she gets this moment even though it's like shrouded in humor, what we were talking about earlier when she comes out to Steve, it's just such like a great, delightful surprise to do this in a show that's set in the 80s. I just think that, you know, she starts off, she's so confused, but then she really like, she goes along with all of it. She's there for all of it. She's like, you know, just ready to jump in and help solve the mystery, you know, and just is a great companion to Steve. But at the very, I love what they did with her, you know, with her coming out and her being gay. I think that was just a great move, and that's why I love her.
I got Robin here as well, just from the confidence that she really comes into herself this season. Like,
yes.
Her and Steve just truly, it's such a great friendship because they really just teach each other how to be the best versions of themselves. And I think that's really sweet, and it's really wholesome. I do want to go out of order a little bit and pivot straight immediately to season 4 and talk about favorite character arc. And I'll do the retro recap real quick. I'll do the retro recap real quick, and then we'll dive straight into it. But is Hopper really dead? Can he even be saved? I say try before you deny, my brother. Okay, I got out of it, but we're not even going to finish. I just wanted to get a try before you deny in there, but screw it. I'm retro recapped out. I'm distracted by the other thing I want to talk about, going straight into favorite character arc. I think the character with the most regressive arc, or just straight staying where we are arc, not moving in season 4, is also the character that has arguably the best moment of season 4. And I wanted to talk about it, tying it onto what we talked about with Robin coming out to Steve, because although Will does not come out to Mike this season or to Jonathan this season, I want to talk about Jonathan. Because Jonathan's moment with Will, where
yes,
he's kind of saying to him like, hey buddy, I know, but above all else, with it's Stranger Things is such a great coming of age story, because throughout these 4 seasons we are constantly getting all these moments from all these different characters of, are my friends and my loved ones gonna outgrow me? Are my friends not going to need me anymore? Mike says that with Elle in season 4 as well, right? Of like, I love you. I've never been scared of you. I've been scared that one day you're not going to need me anymore. And that's how it is with all of them. That's why all of them are terrified whenever a girl gets introduced in the party, because they're all afraid that means one of them is going to get replaced. And so this moment of Jonathan telling Will, nothing you could ever tell me or do or share about who you are will make me not love you. I will always be there for you. You are my best friend no matter what. And it calls back to the earlier seasons of, would you rather be Kenny Rogers or would you rather be Bowie? Well, I'd rather be Bowie, right? Being weird is good. Being different is good. And so much of that for Will kind of comes back to himself hiding who he is, partially because he doesn't know his friends are going to expect him, partially because this dude is scared shitless with PTSD from being invaded by all kinds of scary demons.
Yeah, and season 5, first 5 minutes really.
Right? And so that moment with Jonathan and Will, where Jonathan's telling Will, like, hey buddy, I know. I saw you talk to Mike, and as Will, I'm not a real life Noah Schnapp fan.
Neither am I.
But the Will scene where he's talking to Mike and talking about all the reasons why Mike is meaningful to the group and why Eleven loves and cares for Mike, really.
Oh, it's
through the back of his eyes. We all know he's talking about himself,
right?
He's talking about his feelings for Mike. And Jonathan to have seen that and to just come in and comfort him in such a way, I thought it was really incredible. Other than that, Jonathan's such a fucking dud this whole season.
I know.
Jonathan has no growth this whole season.
So sad. No, I agree with that.
So I want to shout out Jonathan's arc. I want to shout out Jonathan's moment with his brother, and also negatively shout out his character arc, because he gets my least favorite character arc of season 4. Sean,
I
who
think
would
that's
be
part of
your favorite character arc?
I think that's part of the point for sure too, to ramp up the Steve,
Ramp up
Nancy,
Steve and
Jonathan
bring down
triangle
Jonathan.
to the triangle. It's definitely there.
Who would
My
be in
favorite
charge?
character arc.
Steve Harrington, and Nancy's like, yeah, Jonathan.
Yeah, my favorite character arc of season 4 is Lucas. And TJ and I talked about this at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a douche, but it's understandable, especially from a teenage kid's perspective. You know, he's like, I want to fit in, I want to get popular, and then bring my friends with me, and then we can all be popular together and stop getting made fun of. And then he realizes these guys suck, and then he goes back to his friends and really shows up, especially for Max. So Lucas is my favorite character,
and a great storytelling moment where after all of that, for a while, you genuinely don't know if Lucas is betraying them or betraying his friends or throwing the bad guys off the scent. You really don't know at that moment because of how they set it up. A really good storytelling choice too.
Yeah, I gotta go Lucas as well. That is such a great that's such a great choice again. But my MVP of the season though, can I introduce this combo? My MVP is Max. My MVP is also Nancy because she again shoots Vecna straight in the head. It's kind of awesome. Or like, doesn't she shoot him? Yeah, but she like cuts the barrel of the gun, and it's like, and Max is like, is that illegal? And she's like, yeah. Okay, we're gonna go. But I just think Max, she gets arguably one of the most Stranger Things' most iconic moments in episode 4. I think is Dear Billy, whatever episode that one is. I think it's 4.
Yep, 4.
She is, you know, kind of lost because Mike and Dustin have gone off with, you know, Eddie and doing the whole D&D thing, and they've really leaned into that. And then you have like Will and 11, and they're all off in California. And then Lucas is going off with his basketball buddies, and like, where does that leave Max? And so in the very beginning of the season, she's very like, you know, within herself. She like listens to Kate Bush on her Walkman. She's like out of it. She's not herself anymore. And then you get her slowly becoming so instrumental to the party's all of their success. And she accepts the risk wholeheartedly, and this is really where it shows. She puts her she ends the season in a coma because she was willing to do that and put herself in that position again. And it results in one of, I think, Stranger Things' most devastating moments, where I think it's another Kate Bush song, locked away, and you have 11 there. She's there through like upside down mind powers, and you have Lucas just, oh my god, his like barely even able to get out his screams, Erica, help. Oh my god,
man.
And it shows how much Max has become just as important to the group as, you know, the original season 1 like friends. She wasn't in the group to begin with, but she's become such an integral part of the group because of how willing she is to put herself out there, put her life on the line. And I think this is just such a like, she has this closure with Billy. It's just such a culminating moment. Just so well done.
Sean, I want you to do MVP before me because I think we might have the same one.
I have 2. Max was on there too because I think Max is very integral to the season. And as much as I praise the finale, Dear Billy is the best Stranger Things episode.
Oh my god.
By leaps and bounds. That episode is unreal. Directed by Sean Levy also. Even the other stuff that's happening, like the action in the Byers home, in California, when everything hits the fan there, everything about that episode is so killer. And I think there's a lot of big revelation stuff with 11 and the start of the flashbacks and everything like that too. I think it starts in that episode as well. But my other MVP is Eddie. It's Eddie.
I was gonna say Eddie also. Yeah.
What a amazing character to come in, be brand new, and have such an impact. And TJ and I talked about this too, is he's not really in it a ton, but his impact is felt so hard with it. And even the little moment with him and Dustin, before when they're getting ready to enact their big plan at the end is so wholesome and amazing. He's like, never change. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, I love this guy. He like embodies like what like counterculture is, you know, he's a weirdo, but he doesn't judge other people, and he's always ready to bring in the other little weirdos and give them a place to call home and a place where they feel like they belong. And even him dealing with Chrissy in the beginning, in the, you know, like the first episode is so shocking of season 1, and him just trying to like help her out. Dude, brutal, so brutal. And him just, you know, just trying to help her out, like, even though if it is selling her drugs, which obviously I'm not the biggest.
And you sell as much weed as you want. Let's lay off the K. Let's lay off the K.
Let's slow down on that. But yeah, Eddie. I mean, and like we didn't go through needle drops, but it's obviously it's Kate Bush, Metallica, which is the big Eddie moment on top of the trailer and the upside down. But
I did want to ask you about that moment specifically.
Yes.
About the Metallica moment. So I know it is a pet peeve for you as a musician watching people play music in a TV show or a movie when their hand movements don't match at all the music that's being played. Now, Master of Puppets had been out for 2 weeks. In canon, in universe, in Stranger Things. So that means Eddie Munson only had 2 weeks to learn one of the toughest guitar songs in the history of music.
It's not that hard.
Okay, I was exaggerating. I was trying to pump up our guy Eddie. How was his Joseph Quinn's actual guitar playing?
Didn't he learn how to?
Fun fact, he did. He was super like down for the cause and wanted to make sure he played it right, but the solo was actually played, it's by one of the sons of Metallica played the solo.
Oh, that's cool.
His hands playing the solo is so everything is legit that you see, but a lot of the main riff stuff is Joseph Quinn, and he like practiced super hard and wanted to nail it, and he did nail it. So kudos to everyone involved who made that happen, because they killed it, and that's awesome. I love so much that they cared so much, because you know how I feel about that stuff, which is crazy because I don't even think I talked about this. This is a weird side tangent, but in the Peacemaker finale, the first performance you see on the boat is like so bad when it comes to that, and it was the actual band playing the song, and it's very
I can't remember
off.
if that's where you brought that up to me for the first time.
Maybe, but the first one in the Peacemakers is like very off, and I don't know how that happened because it's the actual band playing their actual song. So I don't know what happened there, but Eddie Munson killed it with Master Puppets. And if someone wants to doubt, oh, he learned it in 2 weeks, if he was that big of a metalhead and he played guitar, he learned that the first time he heard it. He probably heard it. He's like, I'm learning this right now. So it makes sense.
When you're already good at an instrument, it's not that hard to dive into something else. You know, when it's like a new song, when you already have nearly mastery over your craft, isn't that tough of a thing. But I did want to bring that up because I was curious. That is really cool to get that Joseph Quinn news. Has there ever been, like, I mean, I'm sure there's been plenty, but in most recent memory, that's got to be like one of the smallest roles that has shot somebody into the stratosphere of stardom, right?
Oh yeah, I bet.
Like just immediately one of everybody's favorite characters, Gladiator 2, Fantastic Four, like, and
Quiet
a bunch
Place,
of other
Day
stuff.
One.
Yeah, quite like, and a bunch of other stuff that I feel like Stranger Things really catapulted Joseph Quinn in a way that it hasn't many other people. Like David Harbour, yes. All of the kids, maybe they've just been so busy that's why they haven't done like a whole lot of other really big stuff. Millie Bobby Brown's chained to Netflix making terrible movies.
Yeah, she is, but it's okay. I think that's what she wants. She gets her bag. She can raise her kid. Like,
I like the Enola Holmes movies, if I'm being honest.
They're very cute. I know, and I think Louis Partridge is in those, and I love Louis Partridge. So, yeah, no, that was so interesting though about Master Puppets.
Agreed. Any other thing left from season 4, or shall we get into the theory corner?
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I like really wanted to bring up from season 4? Oh, you know who I kind of think is an underrated character? Argyle. I thought he was really funny.
Oh, Argyle rocks.
One of my
Argyle's
favorite
underrated.
Before you
actually
deny.
he told you from the hand sign. But it plays in his pizza van. Oh my god, it's so good. Give me the music. Like that was on my playlist because of Stranger Things, that and Running Up That Hill, which I think, I mean, to me, we've talked about a lot of really iconic needle drops. So to me, I don't think there's a better one, truly, as of now, than Running Up That Hill. I mean, there's only one song that got to the number one spot in the Billboard charts as a direct result of being on Stranger Things, and that was Running Up That Hill. Like that was just such a cult. Like that was like that had impact. Like that, I don't know. That was such a great one. And
especially with his staying power throughout the season too, right? Like it just didn't
Yeah.
really. It was like its own character in season.
Yes, it was.
In season 4.
I also want to talk about Robin a little bit because I feel like she's kind of an like a sleeper MVP because she's the one that figures out that music is sort of the thing that if you're in the upside down keeps you grounded, which is Will sort of knew, but I don't think he fully knew. Like he just was thinking that should I stay or should I go, because it like comforted him, but he didn't like put those pieces together. Robin did. That was really interesting that she was the one to do that. She goes, music, we need music.
Because of the center they went to.
Yeah, and then she's like, and then I forget what artist they were like, that she brought up. It was like Bowie, the Beatles, and she's like, no, real music.
That actually leads us directly into Theory Corner too, because we got revealed the first 5 minutes of, we've talked about it already, the first 5 minutes of Stranger Things season 5 have already been released on Netflix. We've watched it. It reveals, although it was kind of like heavily speculated but not confirmed, it reveals Vecna was the one that directly kidnapped Will in season 1. Prior to that, it wasn't sure, was it the Mind Flayer? Was it Demidogs? Was he just unlucky? You didn't get the direct conversation of why Will got down there in the first place. We find out in the first few moments of season 5, it was in fact Vecna, which adds up to season 1 with the music, right? Yeah. Because the music doesn't do anything to the Demidogs, but who does the music keep away from fully invading your mind? It's Vecna. And so that like really connects to why Will was able to stay safe throughout his time in season 5, although it does look like maybe he wasn't so safe and Vecna was kind of planning this all along. But I do want to talk theories now, because I have a couple interesting ones I want to throw your way to get your thoughts on, and then also I want to hear from each of you to see if you have any of your own that I haven't mentioned. But one very interesting one that they keep bringing up on the House of R podcast that I was talking about is time travel within this final season. There has just been so much emphasis on time and clocks over the last little bit that, and then you throw the upside down being stuck on the same day in 1983, I believe it is, off the top of my head.
The day that Will gets captured, it's stuck on the same day.
Yeah. And so with that being the case, there's a lot of maybe do they go back? Is there time travel elements to the upside down? This kind of leads me directly into talking about that stage show that you were talking about, Caroline. And again,
yes, the first shadow.
If you don't want anything spoiled from this, just press pause or fast forward on us. If you're listening to us live, just give us a little mute for a second. But they did have some contradictions based on like what, like, this is canon, right? They've said it as canon. And so
yes, it is.
With that being the case, in this stage show, they reveal that the Mind Flayer has been there before Vecna.
Yeah.
And the Mind Flayer is not necessarily below Vecna in the totem pole like we have been kind of led to believe. The Mind Flayer may be above Vecna, and Vecna may be some sort of general, whether he knows it or not, like Dustin described to us in season 4. But also, they introduced another dimension in that season, in that stage play called Dimension X, which is not the Upside Down. This is another separate place from the Upside Down, which is supposedly where the Mind Flayer comes from. And so there are theories that have come from this of will now somehow go back in time and try and stop the Mind Flayer in Dimension X, but because of that, that is how the Upside Down is created. That's where the Upside Down comes from, is Will fucking up and ruining everything when he tries to go into Dimension X and stop the Mind Flayer. I don't know all the details of the theory, but that kind of goes all together. Sean, I know you got to get out of here right away. So if you do have any theories, I want to go to you first, and then I'll go back after.
That's interesting. Dimension X we've already seen, because when we see Henry Vecna go into that rift, I believe that is Dimension
yes,
X.
that is
and
what it
he
says
creates the Upside Down.
Yes,
Okay.
that is
From
what it's
that.
saying here on Google.
Yes. So Dimension X is already a thing. So I think that's just kind of adding to that lore, which is cool. I like that there is that. Yeah, I'm not sure if the Mind Flayer is above
So
him.
it's
Or he is
essentially the
controlling the Mind
stage
Flayer.
show kind of contradicts what we got in that scene with one, where he's kind of going in and creating the Upside Down. I kind of they're implying that that's not actually how it went, and potentially that was just one's perspective of how he thinks it went.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Cool. Well, I know that the Duffers have said like we'll finally understand like what actually the Upside Down is, which I'm very excited to finally find out, because it is very kind of ominous and interesting. And it's like, is that where the powers come from? Because obviously like one was the first one, and then they created all of them. Like I saw this weird thing, people they're like, oh, is 11 gonna be the weird clone baby of one? And I'm like, technically she is. Her powers were made from his DNA. I don't think she's a clone. She was birthed from a person who was pregnant, and then it was kind of like Compound V. They used one to make superheroes.
Yeah,
like
I mean, technically one's
like
more
a
kind of like
clone.
her genetic father.
Yeah, I mean, or has some sort of DNA. I don't think she's really
Because
his dad.
her mom was under the impression this is like an immaculate conception, right?
Yeah, or it was MK.
Oh, then maybe
she was an MK Ultra subject. I think from what I read when we were talking about it, TJ, is that she was a subject of MK Ultra, and I don't know how. Like within the 11 had her powers essentially inherited from the tests that they were doing on her mother. Is from what I remember at least, and then they like kind of put her in a brain dead state intentionally, because like she couldn't, like their power together, like they already kind of knew somehow that 11 had powers, or that there was a risk of that, so they like couldn't have her rearing a child that had powers too. I haven't rewatched like that intently.
I mean, that's why we're in Theory Corner, right? Like this is all stuff we're gonna find out for sure, hopefully this season, but we're not. We're still speculating.
Yeah.
I think it was more that they made it think that she didn't have a kid at all, and she found out that she did, and found out that she was alive, and that they just didn't want to deal with her anymore, and that's why they made her brain dead.
That's what I think.
They were just like, we don't want to deal with you anymore, so we're gonna do something we don't have to deal with.
Right.
Yeah. Which is awful and terrible. And I love that the scenes they have in season 2 are honestly like very good stuff. Like I love that. I do think 8 might come back. I think they might pull like an end game level redemption, like they did with Thor Dark World, and they bring 8 back and they make it so people don't hate that episode as much. I would really, and it makes sense, because especially with them explaining like, oh, one went and killed all the other ones besides 11. He thought that her and 11 were gonna, like Magneto the world together, but she is like a like loose thread. She is a loose thread that I think needs to be tied back in in some way in order to make that sense. I don't know how Will is connected,
how much they've highlighted her powers, right? Like her powers are so present in one's powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
also,
very true.
I wonder how Elle gets a power buff, because in this one, in the trailers and in the clips, some of them, I've seen Elle flying around like this, like she's Wanda. Like it's crazy. Like she's like levitating off the ground. She used to not, like she could do it in some moments. Like I know in the end of season 2, she like kind of levitates, but she doesn't do it on command. Do we think that like the season 4 stuff with her going back into the lab and her going back with Papa, is that like, we haven't talked that much about Dr. Brenner, which is really interesting.
Well, like that, like Brenner does say that in season 4, like you'll fly you'll do this. We get like the power set tease
Oh,
of what's going to be coming.
then I must.
But I wonder if it's going to be like, my theory with that is it's going to be kind of, you know how they kind of do the Harry Potter Patronus thing, where the Dementors are very much like sadness and evil, and that's where One and Brenner both say to channel your power from is from anger and sadness and hatred. I wonder if it's going to be a little bit of like your most intense feeling of good and happiness, and that's what she learns to channel and becomes stronger than she's ever has before.
Oh, that could be a good one. I feel like that's such a classic like superpower trope of like, you know, the source of your power, channel it into something positive rather than negative.
Very Star Wars too, right? Like
very Star Wars.
The light side instead of the dark side.
Right. What's another theory? Oh,
just in case Sean's got to bounce out of here, I do want to ask you quickly, Sean. Give me your death picks. Give me your Deadpool.
I was going to ask the same question.
Give me your Deadpool. Who is not coming out of season 5?
Man, okay. I'm thinking most impact here. Okay. I think maybe Jonathan might die. Steve's also up there for me too. My biggest like impact ones are Steve and Joyce. Those I think are the most probable that will be the most effective. I do also think Max might not survive. She's already in a coma, which kind of sucks, you know, but I don't, that's the one thing I'm most curious about is to how they bring her back in the season. And they've been very coy about that. So I think it is going to be pretty integral to whatever is going on in season 5, because they've shown no clips of her. They've only shown like her like in the bed or Lucas carrying her. So they haven't even confirmed that she like comes back in any sort of way at all. So I think that's a very big one. Obviously, like Will and 11 are up there, but I saw a very good theory about 11 basically like having the same end as Loki in Loki season 2, and she has to go into the Upside Down and like basically make it like a good place, but she has to stay there and be like that anchor for it, which I could see. Yeah. Or I could see Will doing that too, because I don't know why Will is the key to this, but he is obviously the key to this.
That was a question I was going to ask both of you. If one has to stay in the Upside Down, who is more likely? Do you think it's 11 or Will?
11.
Probably 11 makes the most sense, I think.
I think so too. And I will, because you brought up the Loki theory to me as well. And so I want to kind of counter the Loki theory with a similar but different one. And that is, what if what we've been watching the whole time
was a giant D&D game?
No. Yeah, I've heard that theory.
Would be
what if what we've been watching the whole time is the story of Anakin Skywalker's fall to Darth Vader? The superhero, the most powerful one. He is righteous and on the side of good until eventually he falls into the dark side. What if
11,
the Upside Down, Dimension X, whatever it is, needs a ruler? Otherwise, it will overtake
the
world. And so in order to beat 1, 11 has to embrace the dark side and becomes the ruler of the Upside Down, for lack of a better term, a demon. And maybe one day, 20 years from now, we get a story where 11 is the villain.
Ooh.
I would be okay with that.
That'd be kind of a good one.
I'll be okay with it. I do want, I don't want it. Like the one thing I don't want is I don't want the Upside Down to go away and everything becomes normal. Cause obviously they've talked about spinoffs, and what they've said that I think is very interesting is that it would be a completely different city and it would be like a different decade. So I would love to see, you know, like other people with powers come up. Like maybe it's
That's what I'm thinking too. In the future, different city, the only connection is the threat we're facing is 11.
That would be so sick.
That'd be sick.
That'd be really
I just hope that they don't cheap out and they don't, because I feel like the Duffers for a very long time, and this has been one of my kind of biggest gripes with the show in general. I mean, this show's fantastic, but one of the things that I don't like is that they're a little too scared to kill off their characters. I don't know. I mean, there are so many good ones, and I think, you know, Eddie was introduced in season 4. I think the cast at this point between, you know, Max and Robin and like Steve becoming good now. And then you have Murray and Erica and all
the Hopper fake out.
The Hopper fake out. And I'm like, we gotta cut this down. We have like my hope, and I don't hope this because I love a lot of these characters and obviously we want to see them okay. But for television's sake, for writing's sake, for, you know, we have to have some high impact deaths in the main cast. I know they're introducing a new character. I think his name is Derek, and he's supposed to be like Erica's bully. I've seen him on some of the posters, and I'm like, if you're just gonna kill the new guy off, like, and not have that be, you know, one of your only, I just need a high impact like death in this season. Who I think it will be, I have my thoughts, but if you want Sean to keep going a little bit more,
I differ from you because I hope that since life is so dark, that we get no one dying and it's a happy ending and everybody starts happy little families and lives their best life.
Everything's great. Everything's
great. Everything's sunshine and rainbows. But
everything is awesome.
Who do you think is gonna be the one that bites the bullet, or the ones that bite the bullet?
Okay, I think first and foremost, and I really hate to say this, I think Steve is gonna do his major sacrifice. It just feels written in the stars. It feels like something that he would do. I think Steve is a pretty much a secure bet. For me, I think you're gonna get one of the older ones. I feel like they're gonna like try to tease Will something happening to him. I think I've already been seeing that, but I doubt that he will actually die just because he's just been through so much. I would say if it's going to be any of, I'm looking at the bottom left of the screen, I'm looking at kind of the OG5. I feel like if it's going to be any of them, it might be Dustin. You have to think about the characters.
Would be a big one.
If they kill Dustin, I will riot.
Yeah, that would be a big deal because I feel like Dustin does not. But I have to think about the characters that'd be most willing to put their lives on the line like that. And I think Dustin is one of those characters that'll just make a split-second decision and be like, I have to do this. And then not really thinking about the consequences. I think he's the type of character that would do that. Mike, I feel like, because Mike sometimes, I said he had a really good arc in season 1, but then ever since then, I feel like he's kind of been stagnant. Yes, he's definitely gone down. I think that they have an opportunity to really bring him back up. And really make his arc complete if they have him do something here in season 5, and that might be him, you know, sacrificing himself. So then Mike is, I just think that one of the 5 that I see below me, I think I don't want, I think maybe most likely it'll be 11. Somehow she cannot be with the group in some way, whether if she dies or has to be stuck in the upside down or whatever. Like there's going to be some way that she, that she has to sacrifice herself in some way. So I'm going to go with 11 or Dustin, Steve. I think is a good one. One of the adults, probably Joyce. That's a good choice. No rhyme intended.
I really think the big heroic one, like the big heroic death, I actually do think it's going to be Hopper. And I know a lot of people don't think that because we had the fake out at the end of last season, but that fake out was such like a quiet under the table fake out, you know, of like, he's gone. I think they'll just do the polar opposite of like,
you watch him die.
Big boom. He goes out guns blazing. But having said that, I do think either Steve or Jonathan will die. One of those two isn't making it out of season 5. And I think the hill that I'm going to die on, the place that I'm going to plant my flag, is Mike goes out trying to save 11.
Yeah.
11, who has feeling like she has nothing else to live for on this earth, temporarily saves everybody by leaving to rule the Upside Down or Dimension X, whichever one. That's kind of the one that I'm thinking it's going to happen. Sean, final question. Tell the tell the people where they can find your podcast, where they can find you on socials. My final question to you is this. 2 of these couples will end up together. The other one will not. Which 2 are you saving? Don't worry, Caroline. We'll have some fun with this. After Sean goes.
Good.
Lucas and Max. Joyce and Hop. 11 and Mike.
I saved 2.
2 of them will end up together. 1 will not.
Lucas and Max, Joyce and Hopper. 11 and Mike aren't surviving this. I don't think.
I like it. I like it. Where can people find you, my friend?
You can find me all social media at Metalcore Nerds. Subscribe to us on YouTube. I just interviewed the drummer of Sum 41 and Electric Callboy, Frank Zumo. He just put out a new book. It's really awesome. We talk about all that stuff and what he watches in his spare time, which is not a lot of spare time. But he's a really, really cool guy. I'm trying to push YouTube as hard as possible there. So go subscribe, Metalcore Nerds. And that's it.
All right. See you later, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Caroline, I'm throwing you the same question. 2 of these 3 couples make it through. One, like based on, you can answer it 2 differently ways too. One, what you think will happen, and one, what you want to happen.
Okay.
But 2 of the 3 couples. 1, Mike and 11. 2, Lucas and Max. 3, Joyce and Hopper.
Okay, this is a really good question, and I think I'd have to agree with what Sean said of 11, only because there is a chance that they make Byler happen. I don't know how they're gonna go about it. I think in my mind, but it's also so interesting because I was also gonna say something about how I think 11 is such a through line throughout the series. I think in every single season, like when I think back on 11 and Mike's arcs, like they're somehow interlinked at all times. Like the whole 353 days, you have I dump your ass in season 3 and them kind of finding their way back to each other, keeping the door open 3 inches, how that was a whole thing. Season 4, how there was the from and not love. I just feel like there's always these 2 are interlinked throughout the series. It's been something that's been set up since season 1. I think if they're gonna go between Maleven or Byler, I think it's gonna be Maleven just because it's just a part of the show in such a great way. But I think because you have the chance for them to really do something with Byler and I think what they're going to do is an arc about Will coming to terms with his sexuality through Mike, who, not because he doesn't like Will, because he just doesn't feel the same ways that Will does to Mike. It's just that happens a lot. I know a lot of my friends who have gone through that, and it's not fun, but it's just so integral to that experience. I think that might be it seemed like they were setting that up in season 4 for sure. With the whole talk with Will and Mike and then with Will and Jonathan. But because that option is on the table, I would say that if they want to go full Byler, then Maleven does not happen. That is the only really way I see it though happening, or Maleven not happening. That's why I say them. I think Lucas and Max, but then you have to think if Max were to die, let's say she doesn't make it out of this coma, then Maleven's going to happen. Lucas and Max can't happen anymore, which would suck because they're the best. And then Joyce and Hopper, I just feel like that's an easy lock right there.
Yeah, that's just been the one that has never quite happened, but we've been building towards the whole time. Everybody else has happened at one point already, whether they are staying together or not, whether bad things will continue to happen. Everybody else has had their moment except for Joyce and Hop. Joyce and Hop have had a big kiss while they were dirty as hell after climbing through the sewers, but they haven't had their moment.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have a moment, but I think Lou, Max, and Dropper. Maleven looks a little risky right now, but I'm a Maleven truther. I've just loved them since season 1. I'm sorry, they're so cute in that first season. I have to come on, they're so good. And then in season 2, when she comes in the snowball and he stands up, he's like, "Oh my gosh, she's here and she looks so pretty." Oh my gosh, it's too good.
It's beautiful. It's really, really nice. Final question. We got 2 hours of podcasting down the drain.
I know. Wow.
Thanks to those who tuned in. Thank you to you and Sean for hanging out with me this long. Final question.
That's fun. Yeah, that's fun.
Does our girl Nance, does she end up with Steve?
Oh, great question.
Or as an independent woman who don't need no man?
Ooh, okay. I was always a Jancy. I liked Jonathan and Nancy together, but they kind of botched them in season 4. And they tried to make Stancy happen again. And I was like, stop trying to make this happen. It's not going to happen. I just feel like Steve has evolved from that point. I feel like if they were to bring Steve back to Nancy, I think that would just be a devolution of his character. I think they've done such a good job of, that was the role that he originally served in the show. It was to kind of be the douchey boyfriend to the nice girl. And I think he served it fine. And then he totally became a character that just leaps and bounds away from that. And I think if you bring him back to Nancy, who has also gone through so much and has learned a lot about herself, and whether that's through her relationship with Jonathan or just doing all of the things that she's done, throughout the seasons, I just feel like for both of them, I think it would be a little bit of a devolution of the character. I think the least likely outcome is Steve and Nancy, although and I think it's either going to be she ends up with Jonathan if he does not die, or she ends up alone. I think that there's a pretty good chance that she could end up alone because she's just awesome. And I would kind of love that for her. But also, Jancy was so in season 2. Oh my gosh, they were the best. They were so great. I just hate what they did with them in the later seasons. But if they can recapture that season 2 magic, then I will be there because, Nancy deserves the best. But I also think, but then I think about season 1 and him like being all weird. But then I also feel like Jonathan's evolved from that too. So
I will say I want it to be Steve. Now I think it will be pending he doesn't die. I was on the Jonathan train until season 4, and it's honestly less even that Jonathan's regression and more just about Steve's progression for me of just how the person he has become and the reason why. And, he talks about in season 4 with the knock on the head that he got.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish some other girl gave me a knock on the head earlier so that you and I might have worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And I do resonate with that a little bit because I was a totally different person. Then I had a breakup that shattered me and I hit rock bottom, and I'm a much better person after dozens and dozens and hundreds of hours of therapy now than I was before that.
Right.
And so I resonate with that a little bit. And just the way he talks about, like, I feel like he very much wanted in season 1 Nancy to fit into his story.
Yeah.
Whereas Nancy, this very career-driven woman, and all Steve wants to do, Steve who can't figure out what job he wants, isn't good at school, all the man wants to do is be a dad.
That could be very true. Yeah.
Like it just feels like a perfect anti-traditional in the 1980s. Steve is the stay-at-home dad who takes care of the kids, which he's been doing for 4 seasons now, while Nancy goes out to work.
That's not a bad idea.
Like a perfect dynamic.
I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, no, I'm a little bit less passionate about this love triangle than I am about others.
Mm-hmm.
You know that. So I'm not like, I think either way, I think now that you bring that up, I don't think I'll care with either option. I just think when I was younger, I mean, season 2 was so huge. Jancy was just always my thing when they were with Murray and they were trying to figure it out. And then she says, only love makes you that crazy, sweetheart. And that damn stupid. And I was like, that to me, I just feels like they loved each other. I feel like they love each other. And I did not feel that with Steve and Nancy. I just don't think I had that. I just don't think I saw that. But that, I don't know. I think that's such a good point of having like Steve be fun, stay at home dad, and then Nancy goes out and does her journalism thing. She's awesome. I love her. Yeah, that'd be cool. Or people ship Robin and Nancy, which I don't think they'll do. I want to see what they do though with the red-haired girl.
Yeah, Robin's got her girl. That's gonna happen.
Okay, it's just like they're just gonna do that.
Yeah,
I just wonder because she's not on any of the promotions, so like how big of a character is she gonna be? And like, I don't know, maybe they'll already be girlfriends by the time there's season 5 starts next week. So who knows?
Fair enough. I think I heard speaking of parenting, I think I heard my mother get home with my daughter right now upstairs with my dog going crazy. So we got to cap it at 2 hours, I think.
That was
Caroline,
awesome.
Where can the people find you on socials?
On TikTok and Instagram, I'm KaraG2802, but on Twitter, I am Wanda's Lola. That's pretty much it.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Caroline. Thank you to everyone who joined us in the YouTube chat, whether you're joining us live or after the fact. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell because we have a lot of exciting stuff coming. We have multiple
Wicked.
interviews for Zootopia 2 dropping in the next couple weeks. We have our breakdown of Wicked for Good, Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out story, and of course, Stranger Things coming in the next couple weeks, followed by Percy Jackson and the Olympian season 2. So stay tuned. A lot of exciting stuff on the horizon. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. On behalf of myself, Caroline, and Sean, we will see you next time. Peace.